ओम गुरु ब्रह्मा गुरु विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वर गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुः श्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदं माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्यां मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत्। अनिराकरणम् अस्तु अनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरते य उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु। ओम शांति शांति शांति. So looking at the response of the Guru. So he started off saying, Shrotrasya Shrotram Manaso Mano Yat Vacho Havacham Sa Upranasya Pranaha Chakshush Chakshuh Atimuchya Dhiraha Pretyasman Lokad Amrita Bhavanti. And then he continues, Na tatra chakshur gacchati, na vag gacchati, no manaha, na vidmo na vijanimo, yathai tad anushishyat, anyad eva tad viditat atho aviditat adhi iti shushrama purvesham, yenastad vyacha chakshire. So the Guru is continuing to describe or explain. He is responding to the student. Okay. This kind of a conversation can only happen when the student is asking for a question. Right? Otherwise, சும்மா அப்படியே போக வர, you can't just stand and call somebody, இங்க வா நான் சொல்றேன் உனக்கு அப்படின்னு சொல்லி, if you tell somebody, or even the Guru is doing this, it will not reach properly. As I said, this is very abstract. Very abstract means one needs to invest, like for example, if I give you a complex mathematical equation or some kind of a theorem, unless you invest yourself into it from the starting, you start looking at it slowly, only then you'll start appreciating it. At the outset, it'll look like all Greek and Latin, literally Greek, because you'll have a lot of Greek characters there, alpha, delta, beta, theta, and all that. So it'll not make any amount of sense, right? So you have to invest yourself, look through it, and try to understand from the perspective of why that the structure of that theorem or the structure of that equation is in a particular way. And that requires intention. So two things always come together, intention and attention. So you have to have the intention and you have to pay attention. A lot of us say that I have intention, but then I don't have enough energy or I don't have enough time to pay attention. Then your intention is wasted. Right? ஆசைப்பட்டு லாபம் இல்லை அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. This is what they say. It is not enough to just desire. I want to experience Brahman. The desire doesn't work, doesn't make any sense. I want to experience the truth. I want to experience Bhagavan. These intentions have to be intense. Intense intentions. So the intensity of the intention has to be coupled with attention. Very important to understand. Whatever you want, even in your normal transaction world, even if you're bringing up a child, for example, you can't be very casual about bringing up the child. You have to pay attention to what the child is doing. You have to have the intention that the child should grow well, and you have to have that intention with a particular level of intensity at the cost of your discomfort. This is how we bring up children, correct? At the cost of our discomfort, we put in a lot of intensity with the right intention, and we pay attention to the child. And hence, then the child will possibly be groomed in whatever way you want he or she to be. Or anything that you pick up in the transactional world, in the Laukika, Vyavahara, you require all of this. Just think, in the spiritual sadhana, you require much more. Okay? All those efforts that you put in the Laukika, you require similar efforts in spiritual sadhana. And you need it much more. because the refinement of those efforts are what. So you put gross efforts for transactional, for vyavahara. For spiritual sadhana, you put refined efforts. You're not getting up, running somewhere. You're not trying to do something. You're not trying to talk to people. You're not engaging. You're using the faculties that are available with you, the tools that are available with you, which is your mind, your senses, and your mind, your senses, your attention, your awareness, your breath. These are the tools that are available. What is available for a sadhaka? For a spiritual sadhaka, what are the tools available? He himself. The tools that are available are his mind, his sense organs. Because now if you're reading or listening, satsanga, you're listening it through the shravana is through the ears. Reading a book, it is through the eyes. So you need your senses. You're going to a temple, you're sitting in a in the garbhagraha, you're experiencing the place. All of this you need your senses. And then you need your mind, and you need your awareness and attention. If you go to the temple or you go to a beautiful place and you're thinking something else, you're thinking about the problems that you're having, about the issues that you're facing, then you're losing out on that particular um, uh, you're you're losing out on what could possibly happen in that space. That space could offer you something very beautiful, but you're losing out because your attention is elsewhere. Your intention may be there. You'll go the kadavale, I want to come and sit with you for 1 hour, nothing else. அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு you may sit. I'll keep my phone here, there, but then mind goes elsewhere completely. And then you have to keep pulling it back. That intention needs to be exercised continuously. Intention is not a one-time affair. It is not a sankalpa I made at the start of a homa and then that's it. அதுக்கப்புறம் நம்ம பாட்டுக்கு என்ன வேணாலும் பண்றோம். When you do homa in the house, we do a sankalpa at the starting. Right? Jambudvive Bharadavarshe Bharadakande Meroho Dakshine Parshve, you bring all the, we take this date and this time, this Ritu, this Nakshatra, all of that. We say all that and then we make a sankalpa that I am going to do this yajnam or this homa. And then we tell the mama, Achilla mama. And then we'll go. And the mama will continue to do 2 hours, 3 hours, mama will do. அப்புறம் அப்பப்போ he'll ask, என்ன வேணும், நெய் வேணும், அது இது ஹவிஸ் and all that he'll ask. And then at the end of it, he'll say, எல்லாரும் வாங்கோ, please come, and then take the Purnahuti and then take blessings and go. And during those 2 hours, mama will be doing some power, he'll be doing some in the mantra, and the japa and all that with a bunch of other vadyas. You are doing your own thing. You'll be on your phone with talking to somebody, doing this, that, and the other. Imagine the situation. This is what we do. Right? I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm saying this is how we also do spiritual practices. It will not work. Here we have delegated it to the mama. See what we do. Even the kings in those days, the Yajamanam, the one who is the sponsor of the Karya, the Yajamana offers he delegates it to this Vadyar who is an expert in doing the right kind of mantras and japas and shlokas and doing the whole vidhi, the puja vidhi in the right way, so that the phala can be received by the Yajamana. Right? And then the Yajamana will do whatever he is doing because he's delegated it. And then idukku or vidhi irukku. There is a way for this in the Shastras. But spiritual practice is not like that. You cannot delegate. If you want laukika phala, this is perfect. It will work. But if you want adhyatmika phala, you have to invest yourself. So there is this, I remember when we were doing agile training, those who are familiar with the software industry, agile, there is a difference between chickens and pigs. CNV la the scrum teams la, there are difference between chickens and pigs.
Very little. I
You
don't
remember?
know.
So the difference between chickens and pigs are to say that um, the chickens are hens and pigs. So hen offers an egg. It gives an egg and it goes away. But the pig offers itself to become ham,
Mm.
right? Pig doesn't lay an egg and go away. Pig has to offer itself to become food. But a hen can offer an egg and it can go away. So in the agile team formation layer, usually you identify people as hens and pigs to know that who are going to put the skin in the game. Pigs are the ones who have to put the skin in the game because they're going to become ham. Hens are those that they can just do whatever from the outside and then go away. So the accountability is lesser. So in Adhyatma Sadhana, we have to be pigs because we are the ones who are becoming ham at the end of the day. That context. Because we have to offer ourselves entirely. So in this, the student is offering himself. See, notice this every time, every satsang we start, just before starting the mantra or that particular verse, we are spending a lot of time in generally trying to reorient ourselves because 1 week goes by, we've gone back to our normal way of living. The reorientation is important. In Upanishads, it is very important. Reorientation, continuously reorientation is important. Okay. So the Sishya here is not asking a casual question, and then the Guru is not giving a casual answer. He's making the Sishya look at it very, very intently because he knows the Sishya's intention and the Sishya is capable of paying attention. So he says, Na tatra chakshuhu gacchati. So first he said Shrotrasya Shrotram. So he explained that it is not the ear of the ear, it is not the eye of the eye, it is not the speech of the speech, it is not the prana of the prana. Then only those who are dhiraha, they transcend these sense organs and they become amrita. And then he continues to say, Na tatra chakshuhu gacchati. The eyes do not go there. Na vag gacchati. The mind does not go there. No manaha. Na vag gacchati. The speech doesn't go there. No manaha. The mind doesn't go there. Na vidmo na vijanimo. It cannot be known, nor it cannot be not known. How can I teach this? Yathaitat anushishyat. How can I give instructions about this? So, what the Guru is now trying to say is you think with your eyes, you're doing all your transactions in the world with your eyes, ears, nose, touch, skin, mouth. So, these are the 5 sense organs using which? Ears. So, ears, nose, eyes, mouth, and skin. This is the sensation of touch. With this, you are doing engaging with the world, you're absorbing. And then with the 5 karmendriyas, you're acting, which is vak. Then you're grasping, vak, pani, padah, upastha, payuhu, payu. So vak is speech, pani is hands to grasp, vak, pani, pada. Pada is to move, locomotion, upastha, and payu. This is your excretory and your reproductive organs. So these are the 5 kinds of actions that you do. Pancha karmendriya. So this is your engagement with the world. You consume through the pancha jnanendriyas and you act through the pancha karmendriyas. So he's saying na tatra chakshuhu gacchati. So to now what you're trying to understand, this consciousness that I spoke about, which is the substratum of everything, which is behind everything, the eyes cannot go there. You cannot use the it's shrotrasya shrotram chakshuhu. He says chakshush chakshuhu, which means it is the eye of the eye. But the eye itself cannot go there. Na chakshuhu gacchati. So what does this confusing statement mean? It means it is the eye of the eye, means it is the energy or the power that powers the eye. Right? Like we said, You can have a battery to run a battery operated car. Then you have um, the same battery, you can use it to run a fan. You can use that battery to run something else, a mixer. The power that comes out of the battery is the same power. Of course, the intensity of the power can be higher, lower, 220 volts versus 50 versus whatever, right? But the nature of power is still the same. The instrument decides, or the instrument operates whatever it can operate with the power that is offered to it. So if the fan can go round, when you give it power, the only thing it can do is go round. The fan cannot start moving forward like a car. It can't move like a car. It can't move like a wheel. It'll just in place, it'll keep going round and round. So the instrument is constrained by its function. The power, it only powers whatever function the instrument can do. So in the same way, when you say eye of the eye, it is the power of the eye that enables the eye to do what it does. Shrotrasya shrotram means it is the ear, the power of the ear, the ear of the ear, or the power of the ear that enables the ear to do the function of the hearing. But the power itself, he's shown it differently. Shrotrasya shrotram, the ear of the ear, eye of the eye, as though they are separate organs sitting here. No, they are not separate organs. It is the power that powers each one of this, but it individually powers them. So when there is an electricity that's passing through a wire, it is connected to the tube light. That tube light goes on. The electricity it's passing through, it's a tube light electricity. The electricity that's coming to the tube light is a tube light electricity. But electricity itself is not associated with the tube light. But when it's flowing into the tube light, it becomes a tube light electricity. So it is a way of saying, right? So he's saying it that way. And now he's saying, but that electricity itself cannot be seen by the tube light. The tube light cannot know of that electricity because it itself is being powered by that. Na tatra chakshuhu gacchati, na vak gacchati, which means your eyes cannot go there, which means you cannot use your indriyas to know that. The power through which you're speaking right now, or your power through which you're listening right now, you cannot use the same indriya to go and find that. See, our eyes are all outward bound. You can't even see inside. Physically also you can't see inside. Correct? Can you close your eyes and I say, I turn my eye around and I see my internal organs? I cannot. It is outward bound. The nature of the sense organs are outward bound to consume data, but their energies go outwards. There is no way any of these indriyas that you have can show you that by which it is being powered. So then mudinju poche, which means gurus, the shishya may think that then I can't do anything because the only faculties that are available to you are the indriyas. Yes or no? Your mind, if you take the mind as the sixth indriya, the five indriyas plus the sixth indriya, the mind, these are the only things that are available to you. Right? Even if you go off to sleep, like CNV was indicating the last week, you go off to sleep, in the mind, you still smell, you see in your dreams. In the dream, you can still see, you can still smell, you can still experience. The dreamer's mind has a mind. The mind here now is having a dream. In that dream, I have a mind because I think, I do things in that. I transact, I meet with people, I exchange. So these are the senses that are available to me. And the mind is also a sense organ because it activates other sense organs internally. It's very interesting, right? The mind can activate all of these sense organs internally without the external sense organs working, right? Somebody who's blind still can have dreams. Doesn't mean that he doesn't have dreams. He may not have similar dreams like us, but he has dreams in which he sees, he experiences. A dumb person, in the dream, he may speak. The experience of speech is experienced, the speech is experienced in dream. Experience is real, no? It is not as real as the waking, but in the dream, it is real. So, how do you access that which is powering all of this? What is powering the mind to create all this? You go into sleep, right? All you do is you watch your Instagram, you do all that, and then close your phone and then turn off your light, and then you go lie down and you sleep. In the sleep, all your Instagram reels will start flowing. Who is creating that? Who is powering the mind even after you sleep? Your consciousness of the body, everything is gone. You go into dream. In the dream, all of those things are happening. Now, when this happens, who is the one who's powering all of this? There's some entity, right? That he said the last time, manaso manoyat. It is the mind of the mind. So it is the same power that is powering. The power is not diminished whether you are waking, you are dreaming, or you are sleeping. That power continues to exist. Electricity is not dependent on the tube light. It is not dependent on the fan or the air condition. Electricity is not dependent on any of these instruments of expression. In the same way, the consciousness that is inside us is not dependent whether we express it or not. It is not dependent. It continues to exist. So he is bringing that attention back to that consciousness. The Guru is not giving him an answer in a simple way. He is driving his attention back to see that, know that you are limited. See, the very first important thing in spiritual sadhana or spiritual pursuit is to know that I do not know. When we say I do not know, then there is a possibility that opens up. I do not know, but I want to know. This is important. ஐ டு நாட் நோ ஐ டோன்ட் கேர் அப்படிங்கிறது ஒரு ஆட்டிடியூட் இருக்கலாம். எனக்கு தெரியாது, எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சுக்க வேண்டாம்ப்பா, இதெல்லாம் சும்மா நீங்க என்னென்னமோ கதை பேசுறது. ஸோ ஐ டு நாட் நோ அண்ட் ஐ டோன்ட் கேர், ஐ டோன்ட் வாண்ட் டு நோ இஸ் ஒன் வே ஆஃப் லுக்கிங் அட் இட். ஆர் தி அதர் இஸ் ஐ டு நாட் நோ பட் ஐ ஐம் ஈகர் டு நோ, ஐம் கியூரியஸ் டு நோ, which means you're starting knowing what your constraints are. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad uses a very popularly known method called na iti, neti, neti. Neti means not this, not this, not this. So you are recognizing the constraints. So Guru is constantly reminding him of the constraints that you are, the constraints of the tool themselves. Right? Na chakshuhu, na tatra chakshuhu gacchati. What you're trying to know, my child, there the eyes cannot go. Your speech cannot go. Speech is derived from there. You cannot use any amount of language to describe it. Any amount of language cannot be used. You can say words like Atman, Satchidananda, Chaitanya Swarupa, Chaitanya. You can use a lot of words. You can hear Brahman. You can use a lot of words, but those are just words. It cannot, that word cannot give you the experience of that. Na tatra vak gacchati. No manaha. No manaha, not the mind either. Not the mind either. The mind also cannot go there, because the mind is limited. Like how the eyes are limited because the eyes are outward bound. The mouth language is limited because how much ever you express, how many ever words you put into chat gpt or claude and try to get whole lot of words, you can write whole books around it, but it will but your experience, your individual experience of it cannot be derived from there. So language, navag gachati, language cannot express it. No manaha, the mind cannot touch it, which means you cannot, like how you imagine things. Okay, let me imagine Brahman. Let me imagine what it means, what it is to be realized, self-realized. You cannot imagine it. So you cannot use the mind. What are the things that the mind does? It has memory, it has emotions and feelings, it has thoughts, it can imagine. So it stores the memories of the past and it can imagine the future. And it can generate emotions and thoughts. All of these are the functionings of the mind. You cannot use any of this. Memory is of the past. In the past, you did not have you the you cannot go to the past to say that I want to experience Brahman now, or I want to experience that truth now. You cannot, nothing in the past you can use. You cannot use to imagine. You can't say, I want to imagine how Brahman would be. You cannot, because you don't know what it is. You don't know. No manaha. Na vidmo na vijanimo. So now he's saying, now then he says, it cannot be known, nor it is unknown. Or na vidmo na vijanimo. So we have no knowledge of that, nor can I know it in its entirety. Then how can I teach you about it? So the guru is showing his helplessness in being able to teach somebody this, teach his disciple. Because upfront, the guru is displaying humility, saying that, Appa, I cannot teach you this, Pa. This also we have experienced, a lot of us, right? Like if you go to a prodigy, right? So Mandolin Srinivas, அப்படியே பார்த்துட்டு சிரிச்சுட்டே his hands will move on the mandolin. Then even as a small boy, he was like that, right? You look at his videos of this very young days, he'll be looking at the audience and smiling all the time. Very, very charming face. Vibhuti itende nicely, he will keep smiling and his hand will just keep moving on the mandolin. And then at a few times he'll look at the mandolin and strum, and then but he'll continue to. So you ask him, how does he do it? எனக்கு தெரியாது, எனக்கு சொல்ல தெரியாது. I don't know how to explain. I don't know how to tell you this, he will say. Because even this, a physical capability, when you cannot explain, you cannot transmit or transfer, because you don't know where it originates from, where it comes from. There is no method, because you didn't learn it through a method. When Mandolin Srinivas was young, of course, his teacher taught him. But what came out from him was not because of the teaching. It is complete an explosion that just came out through him. And he ask him how exactly, of course, he will teach students. But how many of them have turned out to be Mandalin Srinivas? How many students, even if Mandalin Srinivas taught, how many of them have turned out to become Mandalin Srinivas? Nobody, even his own brother struggles to get that stardom. Mandalin U. Raju, his younger brother. So this
Rajesh Madam.
Rajesh. So how do you he himself will not be able to explain. So now when this is the case of just about a capability that you're exhibiting, then when you're trying to talk about consciousness, the underlying substratum, the thing because of which everything is generated, everything is happening here, inside you, outside you, you are enveloped by the Ishavasyam idam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat. All of that that is encompassing is that Ishvara, that consciousness. It is operating inside me. Because of that, I am waking, I am talking, I'm sleeping, I'm doing whatever nonsense I'm doing. All of the activities that I'm doing is because of that. How do I explain that to you? Because the faculties in which we are communicating are the same faculties using which you're experiencing the world. What is the faculty with which we are communicating now? It is eyes, ears, mouth. These are the faculties with which we are communicating, and the mind is involved. These are the faculties that are involved for you to even transact with the world and even to listen to Adhyatma Bodhana. Adhyatma Bodhana is also consumed using the same faculties that are used for Vyavahara. Then how do you take somebody from the outside to inside using the same faculties which won't go inside? Those faculties won't go inside. So the Guru says, "Na vidmo na vijanimo." It's something that I cannot know of it in its entirety. So how do I teach this to you? Anushishyat. Yathait anushishyat. So he is showing his humility. He's saying that please understand it is difficult to teach. But at the same time, he'll go to the next verse to say that it is not a depressing situation, right? It is not a depressing situation. It cannot be taught. It cannot. How do I teach? But then we still have to make the attempt. We cannot withdraw to say that, okay, it can't be done and then you close, but it needs to be done. That is also the most important thing to know, right? So he says, na tatra chakshuhu gacchati, na vag gacchati, no manah, na vidmo, na vijanimo, yatha etat anushishyat. How can I teach this, my child? The moment the Guru shows a certain state of humility and helplessness, because we always look up to the Guru, right? So like, avarala mudiyadada, right? The student is not saying, oh, yatha etat anushishyatna, now எப்படி சொல்லி கொடுக்கறதுப்பானா சரி நான் எழுந்துன்னு போறேன் சார். If you can't teach, okay, I'll go look for the next Guru. It is not like that. It means that the Shishya is now looking at the Guru in awe. He's saying that, oh my God, it is something so subtle that it cannot be transmitted that way. So the Shishya is now looking at the Guru with expectation. எப்படி நான் சொல்லி தரது? But he is also hopeful that the Guru will try to find ways of communicating it to him, right? Which is why the remaining of the 30 verses of the Kena Upanishad came out, right? But the Guru is starting off to say, please understand, there are constraints here. But how can it be overcome is by your own self effort. The most important message is, do not think, like I said earlier, do not think it can be delegated. Do not think you can get somebody to work on your behalf. Do not think that somebody like a bedtime story, read an Upanishad to me, pa, I will listen nicely and I sleep off. It doesn't work that way. You have to be, like I said, a pig. You have to invest yourself. You have to put yourself into it. You have to tell yourself that this is not surfacial, this is not surfacial engagement. This is not like just doing a puja or an archana or putting a flower to Bhagavan and then going away. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo mam preet. What does it go? Uh, Pushpam patram phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati. So he says, any shishya, any bhakta offers a pushpa or a leaf or water, even water, such a devotee, I give myself to him. He says, Bhagavan Krishna says, Tadaham bhaktya hritam ashnami prayatatmanah. To such a devotion, to such a bhakta, I give myself. But then the problem is, we think that is sufficient. அது மட்டும் பண்ணிட்டா போறோம். திங்க் ஒரு புஷ்பமோ ஒரு பத்திரமோ ஒரு பழமோ பண்ணிட்டு அப்படியே அப்படியே ஒம்பூர்வோ சொதச்சதணும் பண்ணிட்டு then we get up and we go pranayasva பண்ணிட்டு and then we want to go. And then we expect the greatest thing to happen in our lives. It doesn't happen that way. We have to invest ourselves. Extremely important. Right? Like today, Sri Vidya ji got up at even 6 o'clock and she came to the satsang. That is important. We need to invest ourselves in this path. It doesn't have to be physically strenuous, but the intention has to be, as I said, this intensity of intention and attention. This is important. Remember, this is the mantra I follow. You have to have an intention and it has to be intense and you have to pay attention. We cannot be loosely engaged in this and then expect truth to land into our laps. It will not happen. Because why? The faculties with which you're engaging with the world and also engaging with this whole Adhyatma Marga are the same faculties. It is the eyes, the ears, the nose, the ear, the taste of the speech and the touch and the mind. These are the only faculties with which you engage with the world. And these are the only faculties that are available for you to even do Adhyatma understanding. So you have to refine it. Only then there is a possibility of some of this slowly going in. So he says, Na tatra chakshu gacchati, na vag gacchati, no na vidmo na vijanimo, yatha etat anushishyat. How will I teach this, my dear child? He's telling that with humility and also compassion to the child. He's saying that with compassion. And but he is also being hopeful. Right? So the Shishya knows that the Guru is hopeful. What we'll do is we will close today. We'll pick up the hopeful response from the Guru next week, where he says that you cannot anyad eva tad viditat atho aviditat adhi iti shushtama purvesham nastad vyachacha chakshire, which means it is something that is beyond the known, something that is beyond the unknown. This is what I have heard from my gurus, which means it can be this something that it cannot be known, but it cannot be known in the way that you know objects. Right? That is important to know. Basically, what he's saying is you cannot know it. Anyad eva Tat viditat atho, aviditat adhi, which means it is different from the known, it is different from the unknown. It means it cannot be known in the way that you know know an object. I know physics, I know mathematics, I know chemistry, I know this cupboard, I know this table, I know this painting, I know this person. In that form, I cannot know consciousness. And at the same time, can I say it is unknown? No, it is not unknown also. And then can I say if something is it the unknown? No, it is beyond the unknown, which means the unknown can come into your known, into the realm of your known at some point, right? I don't know about the tribes of Masai in Kenya. I don't know. But when it comes into my conscious experience, then it becomes the known. But this consciousness is not even that. It is not something that you can know also in the future. It means to say that which is known is the past. So it is not that. That which is unknown now but can be known in the future is the future. That also is not this. Because this is something that is right here, right now, and it transcends both the known and the unknown. Why? Fundamentally, because it is not an object. You cannot know of it as an object. It is the subject. It is the subject which knows everything. How can a, for example, a mango, will it ever know how sweet it is? The mango will never know how sweet it is. Only somebody else consuming the mango will know how sweet it is. The mango itself will never be able to know. It cannot say that, oh, I am sweeter than that mango. It can never say that. Because it is the subject. It is the innate nature, or it is the first person experience. So the first person experience that I have, the consciousness that I have, the subject that I am, cannot be known through the sense organs and the mind in the way I know the objects of the world. This is what the Guru is telling. You cannot know it in the same way. It requires a different kind of an internal eye. You need to turn inwards. You need to go into dhyana. You need to, as you keep listening, you go into contemplation. And when you go in contemplation, there is an experience that will rise, anubhava that will come up. And that anubhava, through that anubhava, you try to go into that silence. And then in that silence, there is this experience of this thing that is always there. This consciousness that is always existing. You give it whatever name. You can call it Krishna, you can call it Devi, you can call it Narayana, but it is always resting, it is always there. That is something that is always there. Experience is true to everybody. Every one of us has this experience that there is something that is always continuously there. Nobody can deny that. Even a Nastika, even somebody who doesn't talk about spirituality, Adhyatma, or even any forms of religion, such a person cannot deny the fact that there is something within him which is continuously existing in his own experience. In the first person experience, I exist continuously. Right? So we'll talk about this next week. Okay. So these questions are important. Like I said again, let's resonate with these questions, because the answer is not in words. The answer is in your anubhava. When you become silent, when the mind silences of its own accord, not by you, ada kaluthu pudichu iluthu katti potu, not like that, but of its own accord. You're not pulling the mind down and tying it to a place with force. Of its own accord, it comes to a silence, and not silence of lethargy, laziness, silence of active observation, silence of awareness. And that it comes into that silence, that experience is something you also will not be able to explain to anybody. Then you will know why this Guru is saying that yatha etad anushishyat. நிம்மதியா இருந்தது. பீஸ்ஃபுல்லா இருந்தது அப்படின்னா, இதுவே நம்மளால வி கான்ட் எக்ஸ்ப்ளைன் டூ எனிபடி. கரெக்ட்? சம்படி சேஸ் எவ்வளோ பீஸ்ஃபுல்லா இருந்தது சொல்லுங்க சார். தேர் இஸ் நோ மெஷர்மென்ட். So that is what the Guru is trying to point out. ॐ कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि। सदाशिवायेति समर्पयामि, जगदम्बिकेति समर्पयामि, सद्गुरुनाथायेति समर्पयामि। हरि ओं तत्सद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। गुरुदेव